Dear listeners, my name is Anthony Clark.
And I'm Melanie Clark.
And we are
The Amazing Clarks.
We're both award-winning certified life and love coaches and a husband and wife duo that have been coaching together as a team for 24 years and that have been passionately in love for 32. They call us the Amazing Clarks because we empower people to live amazing lives.
And we're here to help you get from where you are to where you want to be in life and love. Love the Amazing Clarks is our personal love letter to everyone who loves love.
That's right. So let's get this party started.
Yes.
Today we have another amazing podcast for you guys. Today's main topic is the Relationship Thermostat. Your relationship thermostat. I bet you guys didn't know that you guys had a relationship thermostat. But on today's topic, we're going to talk about that, how it benefits you, how it can work against you, and all the other good stuff. But before we jump to the main topic, it's time for the listener letters. Now, this is the segment where you guys can send in your questions about dating, relationships, life in general. It doesn't matter, and we'll answer them on the podcast. So today, baby, what's today's listener letter?
So today's listener letter comes from Ben in Henderson, Nevada.
Hello, Ben.
Hello, Ben. Ben says, my girlfriend says I'm being selfish by taking 2 days of annual leave to play a video game. I don't judge her when she goes on her girls' trips. This is my only me time. Is she right?
Is she right?
2 days. 2 days of annual leave.
Oh.
She doing the most.
Yeah.
I think that he should be allowed 2 days of annual leave and play video games. That's what me time's about. Doing whatever you feel like you want to do. I know a lot of women don't like their guys playing video games.
Yeah. I think that's because it's not their thing.
Yeah.
And if it's not their thing, they look at it like, oh, that's stupid. He's wasting time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I agree with you. A lot of women do feel like that. But then a lot of women are gamers these days,
Yeah,
as well.
true.
So
that's true.
Whole different world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, Ben, you deserve it, buddy.
Yeah.
You deserve it. It's only 2 days a year. You deserve it.
She is not right. To answer your question, she is not right.
Right. And I'm surprised it's only 2 days.
Yeah.
That's, I think you kind of playing yourself a little short with just 2 days. And so I think this is more her issue than yours.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you should give in on that because this is your time. This is your annual 2 days to enjoy life the way you wanted to enjoy it. Another possibility could be that she wants him to spend it with her.
Yes.
That could also
That's why she thinks it's selfish.
She's a little jealous of the gaming.
Yeah. I was going to say, Ben, have a conversation with her and ask her if she feels like she's getting enough attention. Sometimes when people in a relationship don't feel like they're getting enough attention from you, they start hating on the things that you're doing other than them. So make sure when you are spending time with her, you're being present, you are communicating well, and she'll most likely back off of you. She's trying to claim those 2 days because she's not getting enough of you, Ben. That's all that is.
And in relationships, you got to pick and choose your battles. And this is one of those times, Ben, you got to choose your battle. This is one of the battles you need to fight for.
Yeah.
Because if you give those 2 days up, and it's not very much at all, if you do that, odds are you're going to be very resentful. And so you don't want to bring that resentment into the relationship. So I'd recommend that, you stand up tall, be respectful, but communicate and let her know that this is something that's really important to you.
Yes.
And just like you said, if you're not going to tell her how to spend her time off, then she shouldn't be able to tell you how to spend yours. So don't worry, Ben. You got this. Yeah. Enjoy your 2 days.
We got your back. You can tell her the Amazing Clark said it's okay for you to take your 2 days.
And you never know. You might get 3 days. You never know.
That part.
That's right.
Good job, baby.
Good job. So once again, guys, if you have any questions that you want us to answer on the podcast, send them in and drop them in the listener notes below.
Yes.
So time for the main topic. Today's main topic is your relationship thermostat. Yeah. And we wanted to get back to these topics because this is about conscious creating. And really one of the goals of the podcast is we want to teach you couples how to be, and singles, how to become conscious creators.
Yes.
And most couples and singles, they're going through life unconsciously creating their reality, meaning they're not really thinking about what they're doing. They're just reacting. They bump into something, then they just react based on what they're programmed to believe or how they were raised. They just respond in that way, which may not always be best for the relationship. So once you become a conscious creator, you have way more power over your life and outcomes in your life. And when it comes to relationship, one of the main foundations of conscious creation is realizing that you have a relationship thermostat. And this thermostat is actually called the psychocybernetic mechanism. And we have a thermostat for every single topic in life. This is inside your subconscious mind. And where that thermostat is set determines the results you're going to get over and over and over again. So a lot of you guys have probably noticed that in your relationship, there's patterns. It's like either you and your partner, you keep fighting about the same things over and over again, and you go to counseling and things get better for a while. You read some self-help books, a couple of weeks, things are great, but then you go right back to fighting over those same topics. It could work, let's say, not just fighting, but feeling disconnected from each other. Every certain amount of time every couple of times a month, per week, per month, it varies with different couples. You'll find that you keep going to the same patterns. And a lot of those patterns are going to be unwanted patterns. And that's because you have this relationship thermostat inside your subconscious mind. And if you're constantly fighting, that means that odds are your relationship thermostat is set for constantly fighting. And it could be set in a good way as well.
I was going to say, there's some good settings in your thermostat.
Right.
You can look and see where in your life that you're getting results that you want. Your thermostat is set at those positive results. So where you're set is what you get. So we want to explain this to you guys today so that you can notice areas where you're not getting the results that you want, and you can reprogram this part of your mind.
Right. And this part of the brain, it literally works like the thermostat in your house. Let's say the thermostat is set at 70 degrees in your house and it gets too cold. You open up the window, you can let the hot air in, and the room temperature will get warmer temporarily. But it's just a matter of time before the air conditioner senses the temperature change, kicks in the air conditioning, and takes it right back down to 70 degrees. You can open up 2 windows, 3 windows, 4 windows, 5 windows. It doesn't matter. The temperature will change temporarily, but eventually it's going to go right back to where it's programmed, to where it's set. So once again, where it's set is what you get. Now, if you really want to change the temperature of that room, you don't change it externally by opening up the windows. What you want to do is to change the internal programming. And once you change that, then you can set the temperature at any level that you want. And so this works the same way in your relationship. And once again, we have a thermostat for every single topic in life: relationships, dating, health, money, you name it. And where it's set determines the results you get over and over again. And the thing you want to remember to realize is that the outside world is literally just a hologram of what's going on inside of you. So if you keep getting the same unwanted results outside of you, don't try to change the circumstances externally, the people around you. What you want to do first and foremost is change your thinking, the internal programming. Jump in there, baby. I don't want to hog this topic because I know you're excited about it as well.
It's okay. I don't mind sharing with you. Our thermostat's set at sharing, so I knew you was going to share with me eventually. What I want to talk about is, how does your thermostat get set?
Right.
So
take it away, boo-boo.
The way that your thermostat gets set is it gets set from every experience you've had from birth until this present moment. And most of the things that happened to you in your past, in your childhood, in your babyhood, when you were a toddler, you don't remember those things, but you had perception of them. So I always like to say, think of your brain like a old-fashioned filing cabinet with all the files from every experience you've ever had, what you saw on TV, how you saw your parents interact, how loved you felt, music you listened to, how your siblings treated you, how you were treated at school. All of those experiences formed a belief system within you, and those files are in your brain. And as you move forward in your life, in your adult life, you subconsciously pull the files that match whatever subject you are faced with in the moment. So we're literally just reliving our memories and our past. And so some of the stories that we created, we don't even know that we've created, and we keep running that same program over and over and over again. So when you hear us talking about programming, what we're talking about is all the information that you gathered, and then how you perceived it, and then how you continue to perceive it in today.
Exactly. And the thermostat, once again, it could work for you or against you. Most people don't understand it, or they've never heard about it, so it's usually working against them. But the thermostat can actually be a great thing. So the first thing that you'd want to do is to go, is my relationship thermostat set at where I would like it to be? Is your relationship thermostat fulfilling? Is it set at love? Is it set at conflict? Where is it set? So that's the first step. Now, the thermostat, to add on to what Melanie was saying, gets set by the stories that you tell about yourself, about your partner, about your relationship. Whether those stories are true or not, it doesn't matter. If you repeat those stories about your partner over and over again, especially negative stories, especially if you do it with big emotions, eventually your thermostat will get set there. And then even when you're not thinking about it, you're having that same conflict over and over and over again with your partner. And you don't even realize that you're doing it because your relationship thermostat is set there. So once again, where it's set is what you get.
Yep.
And when Melanie and I first got together, we didn't really truly understand. We never heard the word the thermostat, which is really called the psycho-cybernetic mechanism once again. But we had intuition that led us to that realization. And we realized in our first marriages, our thermostats were set for conflict, disconnection, complaining, sadness, makeup, breakup,
control,
screaming, and so,
criticism.
right. So it becomes like this repeat, like you get stuck on this hamster wheel
Yep.
over and over, Groundhog's Day, over and over and over and over again. And eventually, after trying to fix it and it didn't work, we were just like, we want to get off this roller coaster. We're going to get off this merry-go-round.
Yeah.
And we left those relationships. So when we met each other, we realized that we want to set our relationship thermostat for a lifetime of connection, passionate love, understanding, great communication, acceptance. So what we did intentionally were to tell positive stories about each other, to ourselves and to each other. We would express that to each other. So for example, all day long, Melanie and I would walk around, and we still do it, going, "Hey, babe, I love you." And she would go,
"I love you too."
And we'd blow little kisses at each other. And we do this all day, all day, all day long.
Yep.
And eventually we don't even think about it. We just do that.
Mm-hmm.
We just treat each other like that. Now, does that mean all the conflict is going to go away? No.
No.
Our room temperature will eventually change temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
We will temporarily have disconnection, conflict, lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
But then, because our thermostat is set at loving and compassion and partnership, we automatically go back to that.
Yeah. You know what, Anthony? I would say that our thermostat is set at, we believe we have each other's best intention at heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't ever believe that you're coming for me. You know what I mean? Like I have to watch you and I have to worry about what you're going to do and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's what happens sometimes in a relationship. If you have an argument or you get your feelings hurt, then people start telling the story like, you're my adversary. And you're coming for me. So they start watching and looking for problems to happen because they want to defend themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then their thermostat gets set at, all they see is, that's a whole nother video, but all they see is what their partner is doing wrong or what they don't like. Your thermostat can literally get set at contempt and dislike for your partner if you keep thinking thoughts about what they've done, what you don't like, worrying about what they're going to do in the future. And then you will consciously and mainly subconsciously, you will start sabotaging the relationship. And you will feel uncomfortable showing appreciation, showing gratitude, showing love, showing connection. It will not match where your thermostat is set, so you won't be able to do it. And that's why a lot of people, they just don't know what happened. They're like, we started off so good and then it just went bad. So the key is when bad things happen, I'm going to air quote bad things, because the bad things are showing up to help us to get clear on what we want. Like we said, we had been married to other people before we met, and we didn't have the best experience in those marriages. And so we started focusing on the lack and the things we didn't like until those marriages ended. But before we started our next relationship, we individually were really clear on what we wanted, and we were able to communicate that to each other and then see that in each other and focus on that and talk about it and call it out till we set our thermostat there. And even now, like Anthony said, we have conflict like every other couple, but we still see the good in each other. We still feel the love. We don't go into the story, it's going to end and you don't love me and you're not there for me. Like, I always know that Anthony loves me and has my best interests at heart. And I hope you, Anthony, well, I know that you know that I love you and I always have your best interests at heart. And so that's where it's set. So you have to consciously create this. You do it when you're dating and you fall in love. yourself. You're like, oh, I love them so much. They're so amazing. They're so wonderful because it's new.
Right.
And then you add them to your filing cabinet, and then those files get lost in there, and you stop looking at the love files and you start going back to your childhood files and your fear files and your not enough files, your lack files, your limited beliefs. And so if you're not getting the most out of your relationship, change your story. Start looking for the great things in each other. And you can even start with the physical stuff, like, I think he's cute, or I love his chest, or, you know,
find something to appreciate.
Find something to appreciate, and that starts to reprogram that thermostat.
Right. And once you consciously get fixated on those things to appreciate, then over time it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And then over time, that habit ends up setting your thermostat there, which is what you want.
Yep.
And once again, the thermostat is for every single topic in life. So here's a perfect example, another one, of how the thermostat works. This time, I'm going to use the money thermostat. They've done studies over and over again, and they found that most lottery winners, when they hit the jackpot, regardless of how much money they win, they eventually go back to where they were financially before they hit the jackpot. So, for example, if they were in poverty and then they won millions, everything is great for a while. But then subconsciously, they'll find ways to get rid of that money. Gambling addictions, bad investments, giving the money away. Some will even kill themselves because their money thermostat is set for poverty. So you could throw money at them, you could throw wealth at them, they'll have it temporarily, but subconsciously they're going to go back, they're going to find a way to get rid of that money and go back to where their thermostat is set, was originally set, which was poverty. Then you take billionaires. There's so many examples of billionaires that file bankruptcy and they lose everything. But then the majority of them will always find a way to make that money back. Why is that? That's because their money thermostat is set for wealth. So you could take wealth away from them temporarily, but odds are they're going to eventually find a way to make that wealth back. So the thermostat could be a great thing. In our relationship, thermostat keeps us in love. It keeps us reconnecting with each other. Even when we have conflict and disagreements, it keeps bringing us back. So once again, it starts with looking at your relationship and going, is my thermostat set where I would like it to be? And once again, that's why I said earlier, you'll take classes, self-help classes to make your relationship better. You'll take courses and things might change temporarily, but it's just a matter of time before you go right back to those old negative behaviors. And not to say that that relationship advice that you were getting wasn't good. It could be great advice, but it won't do you really much good in the long run until you learn how to reset your thermostat. If you don't reset your relationship thermostat, odds are a couple of weeks from now, you'll be in the same situation. A couple of years from now, you'll be in the same situation. Nothing's going to change until you start to change your relationship thermostat, which once again is set by your deepest subconscious beliefs, by the stories you tell about yourself, your partner, and your relationship. Whether those stories are true or not, whether they serve you or not, it doesn't matter. The brain doesn't matter. If you say it enough and you say it with enough emotions, then that will set your thermostat setting there. So be aware of the stories that you're telling about your partner. Oh, my partner's a jerk. My partner's an asshole. My partner never looks out for me. Once your thermostat gets set there, there are going to be many times where your partner's going to be doing the opposite. Your partner's going to be loving and generous. Your partner's going to be looking out for you, and you won't even see it. You won't see it. You're just going to go right to the negative. And eventually, what is that going to do? It's going to make your partner feel like they're going to want to give up. And it's like, no matter what I do, you're not happy. You're not seeing the good in me. You're not seeing what I'm doing. And they're going to be demotivated. And then you'll get demotivated as well because of the conflict.
You know, this is why a lot of people are saying, I don't feel seen and I don't feel heard, because there are aspects of themselves that are showing up in relationship that are not being acknowledged. And a lot of times people literally cannot see it because that does not match their story. And that's a really important part of this whole thermostat setting. Once your thermostat is set at something, you will block out everything that does not align with that thermostat setting. So if you're dating and you're saying, I want love and I want to get married, and your thermostat is set at, I think marriage is hard, or I think that I'm going to have to give up myself to be in a relationship. If that's a subconscious belief, you will sabotage your own dates. You will make sure that you do not get married. You will not allow yourself to be in relationship past an extended amount of time. So this affects every aspect of our life. Another way that it shows up is people talk about imposter syndrome. That's what imposter syndrome is. Their thermostat is set at I'm not enough, and then they get an opportunity that exceeds where their thermostat is set, and it feels really uncomfortable, and they start to feel like I don't deserve this. I'm fooling people. They think I'm good enough for this because my thermostat tells me I'm not good enough. I heard in my childhood that I wasn't smart. I heard in my childhood that I would never amount to anything. And I have files on that. And every time I move towards an opportunity, those files pop up on me. And then I go back into that belief system. So when we're coaching people, that's why when we read the listener letters, we can kind of gauge what people are going through, is because we're going right to their thermostat, right? So our listener letter today, Ben's thermostat is set at 2 me days annually. That's where his thermostat is set. And for whatever reason, his girl's thermostat is probably set at when a guy loves you, he gives you all his time. When he has some free time, that becomes me time, not him time, because he's supposed to give all of his attention to me.
Or her thermostat could be set at, he's supposed to do what I tell him to do.
Yeah, that's true.
If I feel this should be this way, that's the way it's supposed to be. End of it.
If he loves me and I say this, then he should do it. A lot of people have that in their thermostat setting. Love means this. Love means that. So it means something to different people. And so when you recognize that we all have different thermostat settings and you get into conflict, it's super important to ask questions. Why do you think that? Well, why do you believe that? Because people have a lot of beliefs that they don't even realize that they have, and they don't know where they came from. And if you dig a little bit, listen to what I said, dig a little bit, not attack, not put down, not say that's wrong, but that's interesting that you feel that way. Where do you think you learned that? How long have you felt that way?
Right.
And then people start to observe themselves and they realize, like, I don't even know why I think that. That's actually not that important. And once they have awareness of it, then it starts to change. But most people do not know where their thermostat is set.
And another perfect example of a thermostat, how quickly and easily it gets set, is like when you're in the car and you're listening to a song and you hate that song at first, like, I hate this song. But then they play it over and over and over and over and over again. And then one day you're driving down the street singing along to the song, all happy, and you know all the lyrics. And what happened? You didn't consciously choose to get your thermostat setting set there to liking that song, but the brain gets fed the same information over and over. Eventually it accepts it. And that sets your thermostat there. And like Melanie said, you have to start to pay attention to the stories that you're telling. Now, there are areas in your life where your thermostat is working great. And I see this, and especially in a lot of women. When it comes to their career, they're killing it. Their thermostat is set for success and there's no stopping them. But when it comes to the relationship, not so much. And so they want to run from the relationship because they're not getting that same success that they're getting in their career. But if they really dig down and pay attention to their thoughts, they have a lot of negative stories about their relationship and their partner and themselves. And so no one's forcing you to tell those stories. The key is whatever you want to create, whatever you want to see in your relationship, you have to create a story about it like it's already happening now. Even if you're looking and going, I'm not seeing it right now, don't worry. Just keep telling yourself that it's happening and feeling like it's happening. Eventually, you'll start to see signs of it happening. All of a sudden, your partner will start to shift and change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so a lot of your thermostat setting, like Melanie said earlier, was set by your childhood. You downloaded other people's limiting beliefs when it comes to relationships. You downloaded other people's limiting patterns when it comes to relationship, lack of communication, lack of consideration that you saw maybe your parents or your friends or your aunties and uncles. And subconsciously, that programs yours, your thermostat. Now, when you get into relationships, you're playing that out. So the key is to stop and go, let me just be aware of my patterns, because that's how you have to change things first. You have to be aware of it. So you're getting those same unwanted results over and over again, not because you're a bad person, not because you're stupid, Not because you're cursed. It's just because you didn't realize that you had this thing called a thermostat, your psychocybernetic mechanism. But the beautiful part is the same way it got programmed unconsciously, you can consciously program it to get any results and outcomes that you want in your relationship.
Yes. I just want to say also, now that you have awareness of this thermostat, be aware of what you spend your time focused on. And if you are spending your time focused on content, information that goes against what you're trying to accomplish in your life, you are literally programming yourself to not get what you want. So you want to be aware of what you listen to. If you're listening to songs that hate on love, then you are going to download beliefs that hate on love. If you're listening to songs that really celebrate love, then you're going to download a belief that love is to be celebrated. So one of the ways that we help our clients with this is we bombard their system.
Wait, you know what? Let me, before you do that.
I knew it. I was going to say, my thermostat's set on, let me give you guys all the tools now, and Anthony's not. Go, Anthony, go.
Let's milk it for a while.
Did you hear that, you guys? He said, let's milk it for a while. Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead. Play with them. Play with them, Anthony.
Because I like to give people the visuals. I get it.
Do you, boo? Do you?
Another perfect example of, and you guys, I'm sure you guys have all noticed this in your lives. It's when it comes to health and older people, if you notice that you'll probably have people in your family or people around you that are older, and they constantly complain about their pain and how what's their illness and their sore back and they'll all get together and they'll
medication,
just try to,
doctor's appointments,
and they'll try to outdo each other.
Yeah,
because they're doing that, it set their thermostat at that because they did it so much, and now they don't even have to think about it. That's just their go-to conversation topic. My pain. And guess what they attract? More pain, more illness, more discomfort, more of what they don't want. And they might say that they want to change it, but it's too hard for them to change because they're not willing to refocus onto the positive. Be grateful for the things in your body that are working. Be grateful that you're alive. Be grateful that you can walk. And when you start finding gratitude for those things and focus on it over and over again, then all of a sudden that resets your thermostat there. All of a sudden you're feeling healthier. All of a sudden you're not noticing the pain. All of a sudden the pain's going away and you're healing. And so it all comes down to your thermostat setting, which is controlled by you. So the reason that I stopped you is because I want to give them tips.
Yes. Okay.
Now, how can you reprogram the thermostat? So Melanie touched on it. Tip number 1. Awareness. You can't change anything until you have awareness of it. Be aware of your thermostat. Be aware of your patterns. And you do that by drinking a tall glass of shut the hell up and just observing. Sit back.
Observing yourself.
Observing yourself, your impulses to say things or to do certain things. That's the first step, awareness. What's the second step, then?
The second step is, once you have awareness, is to change the story, right? So if you notice that you are saying dating is hard, my husband never listens to me, or my wife is always nagging me, those are some common ones. If you're saying those types of things to yourself, that's where your thermostat's set at. That's what you're noticing. So you have the opportunity to tell a new story. That is the next step. Tell a new story. You know what? My wife is, instead of she's nagging me all the time, my wife is always helping me to get better and better. We are working together and we're both becoming better all the time. I used this one the other day. Someone asked me how I was doing, and it reminded me of my father. See, brain file pulled, right? Because one time I had this conversation with my father. And he asked me how I was doing, and I said, fine. And he said, and I said, how are you, Dad? And he said, I'm getting better all the time. And he said, and I recommend that when someone asks you how you're doing, you say you're getting better all the time, because you are signaling to the universe, to every cell in your body, to everyone that you're attracting, that you are getting better all the time. And that will become your reality. So when you notice that you are saying things that are not in alignment with the goals or the life that you're trying to create for yourself, change the story to the opposite and start saying it to yourself so that you could start to reprogram your thermostat.
That's right. And like she said, you have to have, so the first step is awareness. The second step is to have a goal.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want your relationship to be like? Because it's like GPS. You can't go there until you know where you want to go. Otherwise,
So
you're
you
just going to
program
be
it.
spinning in circles. And then anytime, the third step is, because the old thoughts are going to keep coming because you've been doing it for so long. But anytime that happens, then redirect the old thought, the old story, back to the new story, back to the new story, over and over and over again. And then the next step, the step before, would be repetition.
Mm-hmm.
The repetition over and over. Most people, it takes about 30 days before they start to see their thermostat being reset. But
Yeah.
we've seen people do it through our coaching. We
Yeah.
felt people do it in a couple of days. Some people, a week, 2 days, 3 days. Everybody's different.
Yep, exactly. Something that I said earlier is bombarding your system with new information that matches what you want. So if you want love, you need to be focused on love songs and paying attention to couples who are happy and
Let's
reading,
celebrate love.
celebrating love. All of those things start to reprogram your thermostat. And so reading, you guys, reading videos, podcasts, audios, really just bombarding your system with everything that matches love. And I want to make a recommendation for you guys because I really want you guys to get this. Like, I think it's so important that we learn to not control, but understand ourselves and be able to consciously create our reality. And that's really hard if you don't have information that supports that. So my favorite book on this topic is called Psycho-Cybernetics, and it's by Maxwell Maltz. And this whole concept is literally science. There are psychocybernetic mechanisms in boats, in airplanes, and they are literally a thermostat setting. So if these vehicles, I'll call them, get off course, it takes it right back to you being on course. And so you have this thermostat in your brain to keep your life moving forward. And it's going to keep me moving forward. And you're going to keep getting the same results until you go in and change that internal thermostat. And that happens with new information, new focus that helps you believe your new stories, believe what you are now focused on. You believe on an old thing, and everything in you is not going to want to change. So you have to really bombard yourself and really dig deep and learn about this. And then you'll notice that you're able to change it with a lot more ease and get some support.
And here's the beautiful part. We literally just finished a online course that you guys can take that actually takes you through this.
Yeah.
And it takes you through the thermostat and even other mechanisms that'll help you to reprogram your thermostat even faster.
Yes.
And so once again, it starts with you. Either change your stories about your partner or keep getting the same results. And you have every choice. A lot of people go, no, I don't want to change because my partner is doing this. That's your choice. If you want to stay where you're at, that's a choice. But if you want something different, create a new story. Because when your partner is acting a certain way with you, when you're experiencing that, that is literally an old manifestation.
Yep.
It already happened. It passed. So don't look at what is, look at what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let your vision fool you with this illusion that this is happening in real time.
Yeah.
What you're experiencing now literally happened probably minutes ago, if not longer, on a subconscious level. So don't look at what is, look at what you want it to be.
Yes.
Look into the future.
Yes. In a perfect world, how would you want it to be? Ask yourself that a lot. In a perfect world, how would I want this to be?
Yeah.
And then you start to open yourself up to new possibilities. If you can't open yourself up to new possibilities, this part of your brain is just going to keep working and delivering the same results over and over and over again.
And it's not your partner's job to change your thermostat setting. Only you can do it. It's your job to change your own. And it's not your job to change your partner's thermostat setting. You can inspire them.
Yep.
but you can't change it for them.
You are not their mechanic.
Right.
Yes,
and hopefully
exactly.
you guys, when it comes to your podcasting favorites, where your thermostat setting for your favorite podcast
Program 'em, babe.
program, so
Yeah,
we're here for you guys.
give them a brain file for that. I
That's
love
right.
it.
All right.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was good, baby. It was good to get back to the fundamentals of conscious creation. And we're going to be doing more of this for you guys, because really that's where the power to change, to have true change and lasting change in your relationship and dating and life in general. That's where it begins.
Yes. So I want to thank all of you for hanging out with us. We love and appreciate all of you guys.
That's right. And if you guys haven't got a copy of our book yet, then make sure you pick up a copy today. It's called Crack the Code, Secrets to Achieving Your Happily Ever After, available at Amazon.com. If you guys are interested in becoming a life coach, then check out our life coach training and certification course, where we cover stuff like the psycho-cybernetic mechanism, much, much more. Check us out at Law of Attraction Life Coach Academy. If you guys are interested in coaching with the Amazing Clarks, check us out at theamazingclarks.com. We can coach via phone, Zoom, and if you're nearby, we can coach in person. And also, like I just said, check out our online relationship course for couples, where we'll teach you how to consciously create your love.
Yes. So make sure you're connecting with us over Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Amazing Clarks. And remember to go there. You gotta grow there.
So there you go, guys. We gave it to you. Now, what you gonna do with it?
Love the Amazing Clarks.